I'm going to take you on this process of legacy of booting of the computer. So if you talk about booting of the computer, this is the starting of the computer. If you switch on the computer and you put it on in the any energy source, it starts. But we have two types of booting. That's the warm booting and the cold booting. The warm booting, this is where the computer has been turned off, and the cold booting, this is the process where the computer has been turned off completely. So if you talk about the legacy of the computer, we have the BIOS. That's the basic input and output system. This system, when you switch on the computer, it powers on the motherboard, whereby it runs, it shows, it connects and shows that every part of the computer is connected. If it's not connected, it gives the alarm or the message that the computer is not well connected. All of those are done by the post. That's the power on selection. Self-test. Yeah. So we have the initializing and hardware detection. This is the second step, whereby the post completely success. The post, if it's successful, so initializing and hardware detection. This is the second step. Once the post completes successful, the BIOS proceeds to initializing hardware components. So everything, if it completes the post, the BIOS completes the process of checking every device or every component that is connected on the motherboard. So it detects and configures devices like the hardware. If you talk about the hardware devices, like the USBs, are they connected? The input and output devices, are the screen, everything is connected. So if you go on, like you put on your PC and initialize, like the process of booting, so that BIOS runs that, and it detects everything that is connected on the computer. So we go on boot selection or boot device selection. The BIOS determines the boot device order based on the predefined sequence. This is where the BIOS chooses the devices. Like it determines the device which are supposed to be run. Like if you press the device, like the CD, to open, because it's already connected on the motherboard and it is already on. It is already connected on the motherboard. So that's the boot device selection. The user can typically access the BIOS settings to change the boot order if necessary. You can change if you can access maybe if you can open the computer, you can change the boot process. Like you can change, like you can say maybe this will be the first to act to operate or to do anything, like to operate on the computer. So we go on step 4, loading the bootloader. The BIOS transfers control to the master boot recorder. That's the MBR, or the boot sector of the selected boot device. Boot devices. The boot devices, these are like, we can talk about the grab for Linux, HTLD for Windows, and are stored in MBR and leads to the next stage. So we shall talk about that. So if you talk about the loading of the operating system kernel, the bootloader locates the operating system kernel files on the storage device. The kernel is loaded into the RAM. That's the random access memory. Like the bootloader, like if you start the computer, that process, it will take you to your memory. Like the computer will connect to the memory of the computer to give you your storage, like everything you last done on that computer. Maybe if you have stored it in your computer. Yes. So if you run your computer and you boot it and it starts and you check on your word, it will create that space for your word and that information will be there. So after that, we shall talk about loading the operating system kernel. The bootloader locates the operating system kernel files on the storage device and managing the hardware process and the system resources. Like if you talk about the hardware, these are the things that we can see by our eyes, like the keyboard, mouse. So whenever they are connected, you just see them connected, but they are managed by something in the system unit or the computer. Yeah. So let us talk about the user login. So in the typical user environment, we may need to log in with a username and a password to access the desktop or the user session. Especially most of the computer, whenever you find that you have visitors and the owner, because there is that situation whereby you can create that security password, someone to access your computer. So if you put that password, you will access. So that's what we call about the password. So that's the user application. After logging in, log into those stuff, they will get full access. So you have user's application. After logging in, the user can run various applications and tasks, utilize the full functionality of the computer. Like if you have your phone, talk about the phone, and you have maybe a fingerprint. After logging in, you can access everything. You can access your photo, you can access your everything. You can access everything. You can, like for your computer, you can access maybe your word, your access, everything you did on your computer, you can access. Those were the legacy steps of the computer booting and the BIOS. So thank you for watching. I remain Mugara Rogers.